Okay, good afternoon. Good afternoon, KIU. How are you doing? Did you pray for this meeting? Very good. So if you don't create life, you can't keep it. So there's a higher authority beyond ideas that we should all respect. And I had the lawyer talk about church. It's not church, it's faith. It's faith. It's knowing that there is a higher authority than you. So let me just thank Charles for insisting on me coming and speaking to you. I think that one wants to get all the time in the world to take their time to do many things at your pace. But sometimes if you want a job to be done, you try a busy person. So if you have 30 minutes, you make it more useful than waiting when all the skies are clear. So Charles, thank you. The Guild President, is the Guild President, and the lawyer I found on the floor, and the team here. They were not introduced to me, but just to recognize you and to thank you for arranging this. So when I was your age in Makerere, I was just looking at you and looking at your faces and saying, what are my fears and concerns and worries and doubts, and what is it at my age and what I'm trying to achieve? What would I be worried or passionate about? And I thought I should do 3 things for you very quickly. I like to write, but if I write, I will delay. So I just want you to know that whether you want to start a business, whether you want to remain an individual, whether an individual not married, whether you marry, whatever life and shape, whatever form and shape life takes, we live our lives in 3 boxes. 3 boxes. And I want to find time and come back and explain them deeper, because I'm just going to run over them very quickly. Box number 1 is called managing the present. Managing the present. What's the present? I'm worried about my next session, my school fees, if I'm a student. If I have a business, will I pay taxes? Will I pay rent? If I'm married, will I get school fees for the children? Will I find a job? If I am a business, what is my market share today? What product do I have on the market? Do I have money to pay for electricity? It is the present. The present was here 2,000 years ago when the Roman Empire was here. The present never changes, right? So we need to manage it very well, because we manage the present if we are functioning emotionally, functioning spiritually, functioning physically. So I don't have time to take you through that, but you are all young. You'll get to a stage where you need to be careful about your emotional health. To know that you should not engage in conversations on social media that really harm your conscience. But you also need to know that you need to be careful about your diet, what you put in your stomach, because we are what we eat, right? Because chips is on vogue or whatever it is, you swallow it, but so be careful about your diet, because eventually you are what you eat. Number 3, be careful about how much you take in to rest. So I'm speaking to myself every time I speak about these issues. I'm reminded that I don't do 7 hours recommended, I do much less. But how much sleep you put in your life allows the dead cells of the brain to really get out through a process called cerebrospinal fluid. If you sleep a few hours, you will not manage. You can't concentrate. You can't drive very well. You can't sit an exam. So what did I say? Emotional health? What? Your diet? Or nutrition? The 3rd one? Huh? Emotions can carry the soul. And the soul is the habit of the spirit. So you take emotional health and wrap it around the spirit if you want. So what's the fourth one? So there are three. Do you remember them? So let's call it spiritual health, if that is easier for you. Second one we said diet. Third one we said what? Sleep. The fourth one is your exercise. Very important. Because I'm really speaking to young people who don't care so much about these things. Exercise is not about creating big muscles. No. Exercise is ensuring that your heart pumps very well, right? That you can climb the stairs without panting. Exercise is that you don't get bone atrophy when you get 50, 60. So if you don't exercise in your 20s and 30s or career down, you will see it much down later in life. So when I was your age, I would go to Nakasero Beach and do 25 laps non-stop, very high speed. I don't know if I can do it today, but I packed in then what I'm living on today. So don't think that you are growing younger or growing older. So therefore, box number one is how you manage what? Box number two is called selectively forgetting the past. What brought you to this stage is not going to help you to go to tomorrow. I say that of businesses, of individuals, of countries. Are we together? Being selective about what you want to remember is very important. Because sometimes you can pick dust, mud, water, soil, and you remember everything, and you affect the four things which I mentioned. See, I share these tools with you because nobody told me these things. Because I'm a child number 5 in a family of 7 children, one mother, one father, very faithful parents. They never went to bed without saying, my wife, I'm sorry if I hurt you today. Right? My husband, I'm sorry I was upset, but Jesus might return at midnight and I don't want to go to heaven angry. You don't know what that does to children. So I am married now 22 years. I have never raised my voice against my wife. And I find it very simple to say, I'm sorry, I hurt you. Where did I pick it from? Foundations are very important. Build foundations, because the country needs foundations. And I don't have time to go there, but so nobody taught me these things, so I have learned them by doing some things. And so if I spend 30, 40 minutes with you, maybe you'll not learn them from class, from your teachers, or from your employees, because learning comes from strange places, often. Are we together? So box number 2, make sure you understand what brought you up to this stage is not going to be very helpful tomorrow. Sometimes it is important that you drop it. However nice it tastes, however nice you enjoy this relationship, sometimes you need to end it in order for you to move forward. Is it a nice deal that you had and you keep coming back? Well, there will be more competition on that deal. You better abandon it when it's still green and lead the pack before they can discover your next stage. Are we together? That's box number 1. Box number 1? Okay, I don't hear you very well. Box number 1. I want to hear a loud shout. You hear me? So the third box. So box number 1 is manage the present. Box number 2, selectively forget the past because it may not work for you, however good it is. Box number 3 is create the future. Create the future. What's creating the future? The competition of today is not the competition of the next 5 years. The technology of today is not the technology of 2030, however way you want it. The population of today is not the population of 2030. The resources you have today are not the resources you will have in the next 5, 6, 10 years. So therefore, extremely important that you prepare for tomorrow by putting your hand into the future and fold it backwards. So we think the future starts when we arrive into it. The future is created by simple steps we take every day. We miss those steps, we regret when the future comes and it has passed us. Do you understand? So box number 1 is about how you feel performance gaps. You understand the word performance? How I perform in class, how I perform in business. You are trying to fill the gaps of today to give you energy to move forward. Box number 3, you are dealing with possibility gaps. Possibility what? So, box number 1 is like you trying to fill a track with a shovel. You know a shovel? Oba katiba. What's a shovel? KTO. Ani ayogera myakitara. HTO. Huh? You understand? You're trying to fill a track with. Now, so that's dealing with performance issues. Box number 3 is getting a dump truck. Is preparing for an excavator grader that picks one roll and fills the truck. So many times in our lives, we are focused on akatiba. When you make bricks, you have done all these things. So sometimes I speak to young people and they just don't know. I have been a security guard, I've been a taxi driver, I've done so many things that I've been to many parts of our country that I can tell you 60% of our sub-counties without closing an eye, right? But, you know, you meet young people and they don't have interest in their country and they want to succeed. Sorry. You won't. You won't. If you don't pick interest in your country, in your neighborhood, you know, in various professions. So, anyhow, so, box number 1 is managing the now, right? It is using a shovel to fill a truck. Box number 3 is where the possibilities lie. When a country misses box number 3, it struggles. It struggles to live in box number 1 and it's trying to do things of box number 3 because it's late. When a business does not take care of its future, Charles here is a member of our board. He knows what I'm talking about. I left my business that I love so much in order for me to do something higher for the country because I feel that when it rains, all the boats do what? When it floods, we all get water. Yes? We all don't go hungry. But it doesn't matter if it rains on my side only and on the other sides there's dryness. The dry places will take my little water. Are we together? So, if an individual misses abandoning some things in box number 2 and living in box number 1, but aim at the possibility gap, that individual will stagnate. So I lost a friend last week. Was at university with me, very smart young man, was same hall with me, but he took the drink and he drank alcohol until he dropped out of school. And what happens when people abandon you? When you drink a lot, people don't deal with you. So I don't easily drop people because of external habits that have become internal. Kept with him for 30 years. Tried to find him work. He left alcohol after many years and got married just about 3 years ago. I just turning 55 this year, so imagine I'm trying to get married. That's not my friend. And so, changed, but rather late. Rather late in life. To take care of things that should have been taken where? He tried to do box number 3 issues while he stayed in box number 1. Impossible. Okay? She passed away this week. Sister called me, said, your friend has gone to be with the Lord. I said, oh, you mean he changed and got God? He said, yes. How many children? 2. How old? 3 and 4. So I'm going to go and stay with these children. Be careful about missing those boxes. Are we together? Be careful about understanding season. The Greeks have two words, chronos, which means chronology. Time is 5, 6, 7 in the morning. That's fine now. But they have a bigger word called kairos, which means season. Be careful about seasons. Often don't worry about time. Don't miss those seasons because it's very difficult to recreate them. So, none of these boxes is better than the other. Isn't that a contradiction? You must be thinking, one box must be better. Box number 3 is better than box number 1. Sorry, you cannot win box number 3 unless you dare to win. Of course, a business cannot invest in its future if it has not generated revenue today. You cannot become a scientist unless you finished your classes. You can't become a good barrister who does what I found a lawyer speaking about unless you burn the midnight candle tonight. So therefore, you must balance the 3 boxes. That's how life is lived. Yeah? You must do what? Balance those 3 boxes. Be careful. How do you balance them? How do you balance them? You do 3 things very quickly. First, understand the difference between success and failure. What's success? Many of us think that success is a good house. Good car. The lawyers buy Mercedes-Benz cars. I see them in town. They have suits. Very important people. I ever had a meeting with a lawyer who helped a client. I said to this lawyer for just about 4 days, and he was charging $800 a day and wrote a bill of like $10,000 with his whole team in just 2 days. And this is Uganda market. And I said, very nice. And now I know what lawyers earn. But what's the value add you have given me before you charge me this? Because my business earns 20% of what you're charging me. So we think that success is a good car, it's a good house, even a good husband and a good wife. All that is good, right? But I have learned, rather not from success, I have learned from failure. Everything I am as Rwabwogo has come because I have failed. So in senior 6, 1989, I was finishing senior 6, and there was only one university really I wanted to go to, really badly, because first to go to university, first to pass in grade 2 in my primary school where I ran 10 kilometers a day. Grade 2 at that time was like, whoa, you have defeated the whole district. Anyhow, so I wanted so much to go to university, to go to Makerere, and I missed it by 1 point. So because I failed in quotes, because if there were other universities, I would have gone there. And so I added a 4th subject. I studied it for 6 months. It's called economics. I got a B, and I went to Makerere. And when I got to Makerere, I didn't know anyone in Kampala at all. So you are all gathering at university, you have those brown envelopes, and everyone is congratulating the other from Namagunga and Namiyango. Who knows your school? My school was a church hostel. They are washing bed sheets, but there's a blackboard. We are fine. But we passed. You understand? It's not for circumstances. Eh? When I tell people, they think, say, oh, Mabu, the big man, oh, marriage. Oh, I say, you are stupid. You don't understand what you're talking about. He knows your country like the back of his hand. He knows it to the granular level because he's lived it. So because at university, you needed to find work in order that I don't go back to my parents who had sacrificed so much. I tried to find work, nobody would employ me, until I taught myself writing. So I started writing from University Hall. You know that opinion page of New Vision, and the editor says, who's this person from Makerere? Cell phone. There were no cell phones. A friend of a friend, I think Vivian Asebi, I don't know if he's still alive, or people who used to write in the 90s. They come for me. And I start writing. Guess what? I'm paid every Friday for writing. Because I failed to find what I learned something that gave me eventually what would lead me to a scholarship. So I competed for a scholarship. I think we were about 55 were chosen in a meritocratic manner. Please don't undermine meritocracy. You are not your father's son or your daughter's mother. You are you. Your father and mother can take you up to a certain stage. You need to really deal with your issues. So, when I get to the UK to study, my teacher taking a lot of time. Are we together? My lecturer is a diploma holder. She's trying to teach a master's class. And guess what? The inquisitive Rwabwogo said, no, you can't teach me. I'm from Makerere. It's a big university. You have a diploma. So she's older. She pulls me aside and says, you have a chip on your shoulder. You know what that means in English? You're proud. The English are very subtle. They don't say, you say, young man, you have a chip on your shoulder. Come see me on Saturday. I go to her office, which was a small place, 2 computers, 2 employees, the biggest business in the city of KIU. What? You mean Makerere, all those degrees? Oh, they don't give you the money that you need? This woman who has a diploma is... So I said, how did you do it? And so she says, I did what I liked to do. So at that time, I didn't understand the meaning of the word calling. You know calling? There are things we do past midnight and we don't know we are doing them because that's who we are called to be. And she said, I did it so well. And I became successful. And the university came and asked me to teach you guys full of theory how to live. That night, I took a job as a security guard. I said, nobody will ever employ me. If someone with a diploma can succeed in business, I'm now becoming an entrepreneur. That's the beginning of our first company in 1998 called TAP. Now, I can go on and on and on and on. The point I'm trying to tell you, when you focus on your failures, they keep you measured. They keep you humble. They teach you the perspectives of other people. When you focus on success, you are puffed up. Success is the worst teacher. Money is the worst teacher. Big house is the worst teacher. Big car is the worst teacher. Failure. I praise failure because only by failing can I be who I am today. Are you with me? So, treasure failure, it will generate success. So this is number 1. So, but how? So, 3 boxes. Understanding failure versus success. How do I manage failure versus success? You need a 3rd thing. It's called mindset. The right mindset we walk with, we live with every day. So I'm deliberate close to where I use Apple phones. I read everything about Steve Jobs. I read his biography many years ago, 2011. But I don't like to wear digital watches. I wear a watch which has fungo. You know this thing that you pull? Huh? It reminds me that every day I have to recalibrate myself. I have to recenter myself because every day is new. It comes with fresh opportunity as well as problems. If I'm stuck in yesterday, I'll miss today's opportunity. So attitude, let it be your fungo every morning. That whatever is thrown at me, I'm ready. I receive it with a whole new mindset. Whether it is someone insulting me on social media, I face it with restraint and smile and move on. Whether someone throws mud as you grow older, you'll find that people will fight you for just who you are. Just who you are. So I can't be anything other than Rwabwogo Odrek. I am like this. But it just destabilizes some people. And they don't like it. And so what am I supposed to do? Break myself into parts? No. I recalibrate myself every day because I only have a few years in my world. I'll be 100, but what is 100 in terms of eternity? It's nothing. 100 years is nothing. 70 years is nothing. So do what you must do when the sun is still up. Are we together? Now, but where is the soil out of those? So what did I mention? 3 boxes. Success versus failure. They are underpinned by what? Mindset. But words grow out of a particular etymology. Anyone doing English? But lawyers should know English. You know the meaning of the word etymology? It is where words come from. So some things grow in a particular soil. You can plant maize, it doesn't do well, but beans do well. So what is the soil out of these 3 where they come from? It's called the right attitude to life. The right attitude to life. What's attitude? Attitude. So give me that bottle. No, the silver, yes. Yes. So if I take this bottle, right? What have I done? Huh? I could just throw it among you. What have I done by doing this? I have thrown a bottle on the ground. That is called objective reality. It is called objective what? So there are 2 realities of life. The bottle falling, yes, it has happened. But there is something called subjective reality, how you interpret why the bottle fell down. Many of us mix what has happened and our interpretation of what has happened. If someone tells you you will never make it, you focus on what they have said instead of interpreting it as encouragement to do better. So when I grew older, I realized that I need to deal with my analytical tools. What is said to me, so if my wife says, I'm upset with you, I don't react. What have I done? What has happened? This very rarely happened. In the last 23 years, maybe once, maybe twice, because we speak about everything in order that we can build a relationship. Hopefully, prayerfully, our children will find what I found in my father's life. I want to leave the next 4 generations with the same values. Please don't destroy good values that you find in your home. Very important. Very important. So, subjective reality is your interpretation of what has happened to you. Some people are raised by drinking parents. They never drink, they succeed. Other people are raised by drinking parents, they become drunkards. It is how you interpret reality that gives you the attitude. Yeah? Okay? Now I need to close. I'm taking a lot of time. And I have so many things to, many other places I just wanted to cover. So, where do you go from here if you have understood the 4? You got the 4? You got them very well? Don't have time to repeat them. Where do you go? So success is nothing. Eh? Success is what? Success is abstract. Because my measure of success may not be your measure of success. I told you a house, a car is success for some people. What you are called to be as lawyers, as professional people, as human beings, is not just success, because as for you, you are called for something called significance. Significance. How do we become significant? By taking all our failures and turn them into lessons and help another person do better. So that it's not about me, myself, and I. So a lot of our elite, when they succeed, they wall off their homes, they drive good cars, that's it. Then they complain about the city, complain about the government, complain about whatever is not happening, they enjoy complaining. I believe you cannot be a significant person in your generation, in your life, if you simply complaining. So, if you live a life of significance, you will become a leader. You will practice leadership. That one we speak a lot about it, but what's leadership? It's a man or woman steering a ship. Simple. So let me give you my definition of leadership. A very quick definition of what I call leadership. It is a process of bringing a new, mark that word, and general and welcome reality to an individual. Mark and welcome reality. There are things we know, but nobody wants to surface that. But leaders don't do that. Leaders surface what you don't want to hear, or see, or deal with. A process of bringing a new or general and welcome reality to an individual, an organization, a society, and help him, her, country adapt successfully. That's leadership. That's leadership. So why did Rwabwogo leave his business? In order to focus on what I said, it matters to all of us. It is because you have a small underperforming economy. And all the people who run our economy are focused on consumption. My budget, my mandate. And all I ask is, where is the source of oxygen? Because an economy must breathe and excel. To excel is to consume. To breathe is to export. When you export, you bring in new revenue. When you export, you bring in new skills. You bring new patents, which I told you speak about. You bring technology. So I said, the economy is a big elephant. Me, Rwabwogo, and my thoughts are going to take one piece called exports. And in exports, we're going to do 4 things. I will come back and share those things in detail, but here they are. And I want young people to know this early. If you want to be helpful to your next society, not just dancing, okay, you can wear your yellow, your red, but in the end, it's the income of the country. It's your household. It's how organized you are to deal with tomorrow. Box number 3. I said with my team, we are going to be very intentional on how we get to markets. We will never trade blindly. We are not going to take our products in markets and they are thrown on the ground because there is no preparation. We will do market research in foreign markets. We will ensure that we appoint trade representatives. When you ask government who is a trade representative, they don't understand. They say, honorary consul. I say, shut up, it's not honorary consul. It's a guy who goes to the supermarket and shows your competition what they are bringing on the market and tells your producers what to do. I said we set up trade hubs. We work with the local media in those countries to tell our story. I just spoke to a Swiss television before I came here to explain to them they want the relationship of Uganda and America and China. I said, I'm not bothered whose interest you have. I am bothered what I sell to them. Because I don't care what they think as long as they buy our products, because they sell our product. They sell products to us. So I said, when you fix the market, it's going to demand a certain standard. What is standard? Every profession has a standard. There's a way you process food. There's a way you harvest it. Now, so we are using chemicals in vegetables. The Waganda says, "Siwangi edigachi." Never know you to do Waganda. And Siwangi mutere, that when you pack something poorly, even if it is nice, nobody will buy it. So we are working on standards and compliance so that our country can have food laws to deal with the chemicals in food, to deal with disease control, disease surveillance. You don't hear these things in our newspapers. You don't see them at all. But that's what is affecting ourselves in the region and beyond. When you fix markets and standards, they demand infrastructure. You must have enough ships and boats. So I don't know how many of you come from Kasese. On Lake Albert, there are 40 trucks every day crossing into Congo. When they get to one of the, forget the, I think it's Daiga, one of the ports. What do those trucks offloading cooking oil, cement, sugar, what do they find? 15 horsepower engine. A canoe to take a container. How can you trade like that? You need not a shovel, you need box number 3. Remember box number 3? So you need good airports to land tourists. You need labs that function. Now, when you have market, you have a standard, you have infrastructure, you need to underwrite orders of exporters. Our exporters are borrowing at 19%. I hate it. Japanese borrowers, exporters, it's negative 1%. They take money, they supply you with motor vehicles. What do you give them? Nothing. So I must find money to make sure that our exporters have working capital. Those are the 4 things that we are focusing on in order not to focus on what? My success, but to focus on significance to help other people. Okay, so here's my conclusion. Every profession has rules and regulations. I don't know about legal rules, but I can tell when rules have been broken. Yes, when law firms are cheating. Right when we're doing things which are not right. The media profession has particular rules of engagement. There's a way a reporter disengages themselves from a story in order that they're neutral. A doctor has rules, that's why they make that oath. So therefore, if you break those rules, you will not help your future, you will not help your country. So I want to end with examples of 2 pilots. And listen to me carefully and tell me which pilot you go with. So the first pilot is called Kudrinsky. Don't worry about the name. The date is 23rd of March 1995. Just finished university. He takes off from Moscow. He wants to land in Hong Kong. He takes off at 7 in the evening. He has 75 passengers on his aircraft. It's a new, nice Aeroflot. Aeroflot is an airline in which country? You need to know the word. Aeroflot is Russian airline. Uganda Airlines, they are Russian. Okay? So, he takes off, but he has his 2 children and his wife. When he gets at 30,000 feet, he switches the plane into autopilot. Do you know the meaning of autopilot? He's going on holiday with his children and his wife. He says, goes back into the cabin and says, hey, my son and daughter, have you ever flown an aircraft? No, daddy, no, daddy. One is 16, another one is 15, 14. He brings the young girl on the controls. You know, when an aircraft is in autopilot, you turn, it looks like it's turning, but it's turning itself. The young girl, legs are short, and says, Daddy, it's turning, it's nice, Daddy, you're not your pilot. Says, get off, my son, 16. His son has long legs. Accidentally steps on the pedal that removes the autopilot. The pilot, Kudrinsky, is not aware of what has happened. Suddenly the plane jerks up. Imagine if you're in that cabin, what happens? All the drinks are pouring on you, and then it jerks sideways. He jumps because he doesn't know what has happened. He's trying to settle the aircraft. He starts to descend. He is facing mountains that are southern Russia. It took 4 minutes. The story I'm telling you is from a black box. All the 75 people perished. And there's another pilot. It's 15th of September of January 2009. His name is Captain Chelsea Salenberger. He's got 155 people on his plane. It's 9 a.m. He takes off from an airport called LaGuardia in New York. As soon as he takes off, he hits 2 birds. All the 2 engines are kaput. He has 155 people. He tries to call the airport to return. He said, what? But you just take it up. He said, 2 engines dead. I need a runway to land. minute a plane is taking off, every minute a plane is landing. So you don't understand this one that has taken off while they are trying to land. This man has 4 minutes, exactly what Kudzinski had. So he looks at the tall buildings of New York. Of course, the passengers are seated enjoying, they just don't know what is happening. So he says, I can't land. There's no runway. So he turns the aircraft and faces a river called the Hudson. And he recalls all the lessons in his life. Don't forget the lessons God has given you in your life. So the 10 kilometers of failure is who I am today. Do you understand? Just because I was not in good law, I went to Barara School of Higher Education. You don't even know where it is. It no longer exists. Am I not here? Now, he says, my ultimate responsibility is to land my people safely. Whatever happens, I can't take casualties. So imagine performing landing operation at a speed of 800 kilometers per hour on water. He recalled all his lessons and he lands straight and the rafts are out. And there are a few injuries on the arm passengers. They only realize they've landed on the water when they're on the water. He makes sure all the passengers are out on the course. Captain Salenberger picks the black box, his flight manuals, his hat, and he comes last out of the aircraft. Listen, leadership is about responsibility. Take your profession responsibly. Don't make mistakes because you've seen someone with a brown Range Rover. Because I'm just about to graduate. Me, I need a guy who is really like rich and smart. Be careful. That is a relationship that will kill you. Do you understand? Oh, I need a girl from a rich family. Oh, that is not what God might have ordained for you. You can have a mega wedding and have a divorcement. I want to be like so and so. No! You are who you are, you are fool. Network is fool. Don't worry about who they are, you are who you are. Are we together? So I want to thank you very much. And I want to take 3 questions and I leave. First question. You can see I'm not even allowing to sit there. Yes, first question. Go ahead. Want to judge if you understood. Why don't you give Norman a microphone? Because I can't hear you. Or just come in front. Come in front and face them so they can hear what you're asking.
My name is Norman Haynes Rwabwogo. He's my shadow superior. He doesn't come from even the same village. I have just one question for you. You told us about the plane, how it moves, and how the parents work. I want to know, because now we're young generations, we're young children here, we're just starting life. You have given us life through what you've been telling us, through the boxes and everything. But when we live here, sometimes we're going to live here because you told us and our ears are going to listen. But sometimes when we go outside, the world is different. Your time and our time was different. So I've lived your time and my time now, talk about me, is really different. Because now we are going to live here because we came from bricklaying, from this humble family, and now he's who he is. But now as we, the young generation, who are following the footsteps, what can we do to make sure that we can also do what you've really done? Than just being, because you've educated us, we're just going to live fully educated because of the way the lifestyle or the way the plane was moving, but we also want to control the plane till it lands. So are we going to guide us extra?
I get a question. You hear the question? All of you, I don't need to repeat it. Can I, because I'm not writing, can I just answer that quickly so that if you have a similar question, you don't raise it? Our time is different from your time. Maybe you have more opportunities than us. Maybe you have a highly competitive world. But you have now taught us, what should we do? So please don't confuse seeds and needs. Seeds and what? Needs are so many. Sometimes we never finish the seeds, the needs. But what we require in life is people to give us the seeds. Seeds is not money. Seed is an idea on how to live. Seed is to speak into the life of someone who may be worried about whether they are enough, whether they can apply themselves. And they say, no, I figure out if he can, I can do it myself. Number two, of course times have changed. But when times change, what do they bring with them? More opportunity. There was no business online. In my time, there was no Uber. Was there Uber? There was no Airbnb. You know those businesses? Now, you do not need to own a taxi. Taxis can be anything you ride. There was no food delivery. That now I order food, it comes to my door. No. But all these are opportunities that have come because times have changed. There was no cell phone. I needed to walk from Makerere to New Vision every day until I was able to get paid on Friday. But now there are many opportunities. So, please, don't focus on looking at the harvest. This life is not yet fully made. I am 54, but I am a man in formation because every day I learn, right? But I strive to be better than what I was yesterday. I also strive to not ask anyone, for what I can do myself. 3, I believe that when I search for knowledge, it gives me the ability to compete even if circumstances have changed. So don't worry about needs, focus on seed. Don't focus on this harvest. This is a harvest of a lot of work. It's a harvest of a lot of work with Charles. He tells you about his real estate. It's a harvest planted over many years. Please start planting your seeds wherever you've been blessed. Give me another question. I don't see ladies. Okay, then. The next question should come from a lady because I'm taking 3. Yes?
Thank you, Mr. Odrek. My name is Odrek Rwabwogo. I'm a student of law at KIU. So you have talked about the success and the other procedures you have given us. Now, a simple question goes, you gave us the example of your OB who actually was trying to do what he had to do as early as possible in his early 50s. When he dies, with only 2 kids, very young. Now, someone here is trying to fight hard to make sure that at least he reaches a simple success that someone might not value, but for him he's trying to succeed. He's approaching his early 30s. He has not got a chance of Mr. Odrek, of getting a scholarship, of getting even a connection. Somebody is even in early 30s, is trying to look for where he can look that shit he cannot find. And then he needs to succeed.
You want someone to help him find them?
Yeah.
Where is that person going to come from?
That's the question.
So who helped to Rwabwogo? I failed at some things. I found a way to get around them. Rwabwogo, who you see here, has no godfathers, no godmothers at all. At all. Because I am the first to go to university, the first to start a business, the first to leave my area in my family. I have a family of 7, 1 passed away during Corona. 2 of my elder siblings were removed from school so that I could get school fees. That's the only reason I would say I would take whatever capacity I've developed, small as it is, and start a dairy processing plant so that it can raise the capabilities of others. Is the plan successful? Not yet. We're struggling. We want to move out of yogurt to do powder. So who is going to help Ruchamus to find the person to give him a connection? It is who? So let me wait for you. Just kind of. I really don't have time. I need more conversation with you. This is a quotation from a fellow called Cicero. If you really like Roman history, Roman Republic, the last days of the Roman Republic, Cicero was an orator. He was a lawyer like you. And here is his quotation. He says, that person then, whoever it might be, whose mind is quiet through consistency and self-control, who finds contentment in himself, who neither breaks down in adversity, it's not that, who neither breaks down in adversity, nor crumbles in flight, nor burns with any thirsty need, nor dissolves into wild and futile excitement. That person is the wise one we are seeking, and that person will be happy. I don't have time. Can I take a third question? I could really spend time on Cicero. People, the world does not owe you anything. You are not a center of the universe. There are 7 billion people in our world. There are so many students in Uganda. There are many lawyers who will graduate. Nobody owes you a cup of tea. It is up to you to pull yourself by your bootstraps and get the seed. The connections will come. Can I take a third question? Lady at the back, come in front. We'll give you the microphone. Why don't you come in front here? You know, when you bring people in front, they learn to address other people. It's a tool. They learn how to deal with interviews. They learn how to speak, and that's an art. Come here and fire the question as you face your audience.
Thank you so much. Still, again, my name is Mercy. Now working and still I'm a first year student at Kampala International University. Thank you so much for all you've spoken. I'm really glad to that. I have 2 questions. One is, how do I handle setbacks and challenges, and what advice would you give for overcoming them? Yeah, we all have different learning methods or anything, but then what would you say? The second is, what advice still would you have for navigating relationships and building a strong support network? We keep being told you have to have social capital and everything, and you have to network, but then what advice would you give if I'm supposed to navigate the relationships, and how do I do it? Thank you so much.
Good. Okay, I think you should call me back, just like a sit down and more conversation. These are all good questions, by the way. Don't think that I am underrating what you're asking me. No. I'm just telling you as an elder brother, or maybe some of you are because our firstborn is 20 now. In fact, many of you maybe are 22, 23. So I'm old enough to have you as a child. So I'm not passing my eye through you, because my own children also ask the same question. Daddy, we see you helping people ask, how do I navigate? So, first question from Mercy was, how do I deal with failure, right? How do I deal with setbacks? Nice word. A setback means that you are going somewhere and you are stopped. Does a setback find you covered in bed sheets and sleeping or drinking? No. A setback means you woke up this morning to fix something, and by getting a setback, you learn how to go around the setback. So she listened to me very well. I want you to clap for her. That's very important. Because life without setbacks will fail you when you are older. Life that is just simply, I get in the car with my father, or I walk in, whatever it is you found, that life will not grow. Life that grows is life that is pruned. You know pruning? If you want a plant to grow, what do? get a knife. Sometimes it will bleed. It bleeds when you cut it, but that's the way it can do what? Setbacks are fantastic. They're the bridge to success. So when you are going through a setback, first of all, recognize you are not the first. There are hundreds of other people and do what they call literature review. How did they overcome this? I'm not the first. Now, internet is even easier. How did they handle it? Number two, if I fail, I have learned a way to not do this. I am not depressed. I simply have learned another way to deal with this setback. Number three, you remember those 4 things I mentioned? I ask you people to exercise, sleep enough, eat well, protect your emotions from social media. Because those things can become toxic when you face a setback and they take you to alcohol. Or they take you to many other things. So it's a combination of many things that I have learned as I have grown older. But God was kind to me because nobody taught me exercise. I have been exercising. Okay, not really like I'm there every day, but my life has been like this for the last 35 years. Either you run or do something. I don't know about, there are men here, when you are a man and you run and sweat, even the anger you had last night goes. Because you've taken out adrenaline. But what if you've not just run, but you've also read scripture? I didn't want to sound like, preaching. But let me tell you, you need to get over your knowledge. I am the smartest in class. I'm the most beautiful. No. Those things perish. The knowledge of God lasts forever. It restrains you. It restrains your anger. It is a cooler and a freezer when some things can't work. Are we together? So her second question was relationships and social capital. Me, really what I want to tell you is that be the best at your calling. Be the best at what you've chosen. Networks will come. Because people are looking for those who can fix things. But when you employ young graduates of Uganda, they cannot write a statement, they cannot write a press release, they cannot spell some things, and then they want to dress very nicely like flowers and sit at the reception. Man, they suck sometimes. Huh? Sorry to use that word. Be the best. Be the best. Be the best at what you've chosen. Because to be the best, you have to live as if you are in box number 3 every day. Abandon things that don't work. Focus on box number 3 because the possibilities are immense. I want to thank you so much for listening to me. Let's find another time for me to come back. Can I ask you to stand? Can I ask you to stand? Okay? So I want you to say after me 3 important statements. I don't need props. I don't need sugar daddies. I don't need sugar mummies. I don't need fake shallow relationships. Because I am enough. Statement number 3. God sees me as I am. God sees me in my full beauty. With what's and all. With whatever issues. And He will guide me into my full purpose. Take a seat.
Thank you so very much. We appreciate that. Round of applause again to Mr. Odrek. I'm enough. I am enough. And I need to be very confident in what I do. So brilliant lessons I've learned tonight. Thank you very much for that presentation. Round of applause again to Mr. Odrek. Sir, before you, I just want to inform you, we have various students from different universities. We have representatives from Makerere universities. They have also benefited from your address, please. Your contribution. Thank you for coming. And then students from KIU.
Can they stand and we see?
Students from Makerere University. Makerere. Yes. And then KIU. Yes. Thank you. And then Cavendish University. Cavendish. Okay. UCU. Thank you for coming. Pentecostal.
There will be messengers where they are going. They should go and teach what they have shared here.
Yes, you have heard it. Then we have International University of East Africa, our neighbor here. Yes? Okay. Cavendish University? Oh, okay. Right about now, we also recognize the representatives from SGJ, ambassadors at KIU, Senate to SGJ, and then Irene, thank you so much for being part of us. King Caesar University, yes, they are. Thank you very much. Thank you for coming. We partakers of this wisdom. We want to take this opportunity as a Law Society in Kampala International University. We have prepared a small presentation which will be presented before you by Chair Papayas. I take this opportunity to welcome you to do the presentation.
I'm exceedingly and profoundly honored to be before the mighty men. They inspire me a lot. I have at least gotten a chance to interact with each one of them on a personal basis. I don't take that lightly. Thank you very much for mentoring me. For the interest of time, I'm going to be brief. As a law society, we have very many challenges. You talked about seeds and needs, and as a law society, there are needs and seeds that we need to plant, and then at the end of the day, we shall get what to plant for tomorrow. As of now, there are very many things that normally happens to law students and to even other students who are doing other disciplines in life. And last year, we had the challenges where students were actually coupled with tuition. It reaches a point where it gets to exams, and such students, they can't even get to sit for exams because they incapacitated in terms of school fees or tuition. And as a student body, we have sat down and we have formulated a plan that will aid or will see us through in aiding and helping our fellow students in saying that at least each and every student who is incapacitated in that perspective is getting for and actually sits for his examination, because that's the greatest reason. That's why we're here. We want to see ourselves do the exams and then we excel in life, isn't it? So as a law society, one of the initiatives that we intend to venture into, as of now, we're looking at creating a venture. That is to say, we are planning to buy stationery. You bear me witness that even when you go to buy reading materials, these reading materials are even perhaps sometimes expensive. So we want to subsidize these reading materials by buying our own printer. We print them and then sell them to you at a cheaper price. At the end of the day, this money that you will have paid will go back in the coffers of the Law Society, and the Law Society will actually use that very money to actually help or aid in giving those incapacitated students who can even do the exam. Since we're talking about time, we have formulated what we call a budget. It's still underway, and I promise that, it's my humble appeal to you that once I knock to your office, please don't shut your doors at my face. Please. I'm very optimistic that By tomorrow, God willing, I'll be at your doors knocking. Please. It's unfortunate that we didn't share the budget with them because it's underway, like you said. But I'm very optimistic that once I knock at your offices tomorrow, please open. Now, this goes to the administration. Please, we have our associate team. Please, it's our popular students of Kampala International University. We come from different backgrounds. Our parents do different kinds of jobs. They don't perhaps get the money at the same time. Even when they have strived so much to get the money, it's not enough because they also have other needs. It's our humble desire, our appeal to you, that you reach the message to the administration. That if someone has at least paid, let's say, has paid and is left, let's say, with 500,000, please, we ask the administration to reconsider. Let that person sit for the papers. It's been challenging and inconsistent with the person who has prepared his or her mind to come and sit for a paper. And then the quality assurance officers are going through around to confirm who has complied with the rules and regulations. Yes, we understand the rules are quite important, but again, we need at least to supplement them and get at least what we desire. So our appeal to you is that once someone has paid and is left with 500,000, please reach the information. The students of KIU appeal to you that let them at least do the exams. Lastly, I want to appreciate everyone that has managed to show up. I know it was quite tedious. Some of you absconded your lectures. Some of you had your important agendas to handle. But I want to appreciate you. But above all, our guests. Thank you very much for honoring our invitation. For Mr. Odrek Rwabwogo, thank you very much. I know the hardships I went through to get you on board. But again, on short notice, you're here. Thank you very much.